Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, esteemed colleagues and guests. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. It is such an honor for me to be here this morning. My name is Andrea Govender. I am from the Nelson Mandela University in South Africa, and I am an academic from the School of Accounting. So I send lots of warm greetings and love from the Nelson Mandela University that's based in Port Elizabeth in the Eastern Cape, South Africa. I'm currently a PhD student, and I am in the process of completing my data findings and reportings and hoping to submit my work in 2026. I am funded by the National Research Fund of South Africa, and therefore I have a strict timeline in which I can complete my PhD in accounting. My specific area of research is accounting education because it is one of my passion areas. So I lecture in not only taxation to mainstream accounting students pursuing an accounting qualification, but I also lecture accounting to business-related students or entrepreneurial students. So when I was thinking about a study that I could conduct and that links to my PhD, it was very clear that small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs in South Africa, hold a significant, important role in the economy. Following the apartheid era, these organizations were positioned as catalysts for change, transformation, and economic growth, especially in a country like South Africa that is developing and has really faced hardships in the past. SMEs have been seen as a gateway to empowerment of those who were previously marginalized as well. However, despite the economic importance of these organizations, South Africa has one of the highest SME failure rates in the world. So almost 70 to 80% of SMEs fail within the first 5 years of operation. Now, research has studied why this is such a problem, and there was a number of factors that were leading to SME failure, not only in South Africa, but globally as well. Economic volatility, poor access to funding, and a skills gap, which was very intriguing to me. It has been discovered that there is a lack of accounting skills and knowledge among SME owner-managers who don't hold an accounting qualification. So that means that our entrepreneurial students are not being equipped with the correct or sufficient accounting skills and knowledge for them to venture out and become business leaders or operate in the business world. Now, the aim of my study is to improve accounting education for entrepreneurial students who could become SME owner-managers in future, which means that they will lead, operate, and compete in the business world locally and globally. Now, we want our SME owner-managers to strive for innovation, to create employment opportunities for the nation, and to be able to compete on a global scale as well. Now, if I can find ways to improve accounting education specifically for non-accounting students, we could perhaps foster those accounting skills and knowledge that is necessary to circumvent SME failure and support SME success, therefore allowing our economic landscape to grow and develop as well in the process, which is very important. And it's a simple thing that we can do as a targeted intervention for an internal cause of SME failure. There are such factors that we cannot actually control or change. For example, in South Africa, we have economic fluctuations such as currency changes, we have energy instability. Those are not things that singularly we can change or improve overnight. But improving accounting education for business students is one way in which we can support business success. So this is where I am, and looking at it from that lens, this is not a confirmed gap. So we can say the current accounting that's being delivered to these business students is not sufficient, and that is why there's a skills gap. But we have to investigate it and confirm it to see the extent thereof in order for us to change the accounting education for these students in South African higher education. So my study follows a qualitative research methodology and specifically an exploratory case study approach, because there's lots of research done in accounting, with mainstream accounting students, those who want to become professional accountants, tax practitioners, auditors, but very few that targets the accounting delivered, structured, and intended for students who will not become accounting professionals but will lead in the business world. So I wanted to ensure that I could investigate and confirm why these students are not being adequately prepared to succeed and become successful SME owner managers in South Africa. And in order to do this, I had to look at current SME owner managers who are successful and have been in operation for more than 5 years. Because as I said earlier, 70 to 80% of the SME organizations, they fail within the first 5 years. So according to literature, those who are able to survive that initial 5-year period are seen as successful. They overcame the worst. So speaking to SME owner managers in South Africa who do not have an accounting or accounting related qualification were targeted for semi-structured interviews. So I sat down one-on-one with these SME owner managers and I wanted to gauge what are your roles and responsibilities as an SME owner manager, specifically the financial management aspect. Because as an SME owner manager, there are various accounting and financial responsibilities for which they are responsible and that they have to do, and it's no longer a question. So I wanted to know what are those key responsibilities, and in your opinion, what accounting skills and knowledge do you think that you need in order to be successful and that has helped you to come to the stage that you are in? Now, what was interesting was that these SME owner managers had either organizations that had an internal accountant present or external accountant present. Regardless of that, all of them required accounting skills and knowledge that was very evident. So I wanted to see what skills and knowledge in accounting is required versus what is actually being taught to these business-related entrepreneurial students in business and entrepreneurial education in South Africa. So I am from a business faculty at the Nelson Mandela University, so it was quite easy for me to extract data on the syllabus information of what is being delivered to these students in accounting modules. So comparing the syllabus of the accounting data to foster certain accounting proficiencies versus what is required in the SME owner manager landscape, that helped me to determine where there's a gap. And in fact, there was a significant gap that was determined versus what is needed and what is provided. So I used thematic analysis to look and examine my data before I could draw conclusions, which I will explain next. But I also want to just clarify as well that at the Nelson Mandela University, all research must get ethical clearance before we can conduct any data collection methods. And I did get my approval from the university before I embarked on my data collection. So the study did, in fact, find that there was a gap. Number one, in terms of cash flow management, which this part of my PhD study focuses on. So this is a theme in which my study would now branch off into. There is poor cash flow management that is experienced by SME owner managers in South Africa, even those that are seen as successful. So that means that even those who have made it past the first 5 years of operation, cash flow management is still a struggle and challenge that is experienced. So cash flow management is integral for any business success. And as an SME owner manager, to navigate through cash flow management challenges is essential. Now, what should have been taught in the syllabus is budgeting, financial planning, financial indicator, performance metrics, evaluations for decision-making, cost volume profit analysis techniques, inventory management and valuation techniques, even how to use accounting software, which is where the world is going. However, that content to foster those cash flow management skills were not in the syllabus, which means that there is a gap. More than that, because of the economic landscape of South Africa with economic volatility, energy instability, poor access to funding, the skills gap became even more pronounced, which means that there is an urgent need for a targeted intervention. Therefore, at the end of my study, now that I have found the gap, and now that I am aware of what content needs to be delivered to entrepreneurial, non-accounting major students, I will be able to propose a framework that higher education institutions in South African business faculties can implement across the board, where business students in entrepreneurship education can learn about accounting that is suitable for an owner-manager construct. And in the context of leadership, they will be able to use what they learn to apply it to cash flow management and other financial management aspects to succeed. And once we have successful SMEs, we have a growing and developing economy, and that helps us all. Thank you very much.